Parents in Langford are being warned about a highly contagious virus that has shown up at Belmont Secondary School, hand, foot and mouth disease. It's contagious, it can be painful, and it can be messy. The illness is common among young people, but that does not mean that adults are immune. CTV's Andrew Johnson joins us now live with more. Andrew.
Hudson, the student at Belmont who has been diagnosed with the virus, likely won't be returning to class until next week, but the teen may have already been sick on Friday without knowing it and coming into contact with classmates. Students at Belmont Secondary will be going through a lot of soap and a lot of sanitizer after one of their classmates was diagnosed with hand, foot and mouth disease.
Clean hands, washing regularly, and making sure that if you're coughing or sneezing, you use a tissue or, this into the arm that we all learned through the H1N1 epidemic a number of years ago.
An email has been sent to parents informing them of the situation and some of the hand, foot and mouth basics.
It's gross.
Coreen Mae knows from experience. She was recently off work with the virus along with her husband.
I didn't have too bad of an outbreak. My husband was much worse. If I had about 30 spots in total on my hands and feet, he had 100. He had some on his face, which were quite uncomfortable, and weeping, which is when they are the most contagious.
Mae says it's kind of like having the chicken pox. Sometimes symptoms can be so mild you don't know you have the virus.
To circulate in the community. And
Vancouver Island's chief medical health officer says that can help it spread.
Well, that's the real issue, is that somebody who basically doesn't display any blisters or anything can still be excreting the virus in their stool. And if they go into a washroom and don't practice proper hand hygiene, and the next person comes in contact with their fecal material and manages to ingest it, they will basically get a case of this particular virus.
School District 62 says it only sees a case or two of hand, foot and mouth disease every year, and generally among younger children. It can also be an issue in a daycare setting. But the virus is a much bigger threat in other parts of the world. Earlier this year, 22 schools in Thailand's capital were shut down to be thoroughly cleaned after an outbreak. Hygiene and cleaning standards here mean there is little chance of an outbreak at Belmont, but Viha says the student with the virus should spend 4 to 6 days at home, like Coreen Mae and her husband.
We were quarantined for a week, and pretty crabby with each other for some of it because you're so uncomfortable.
Now she's feeling fine, and we are happy to report her marriage is intact.
That's exactly.
Hudson, although kids are most commonly diagnosed with hand, foot and mouth disease, it can be more severe in adults. Dr. Stanwick from VHA says because adults aren't exposed to the virus as often, some researchers believe their bodies have a tougher time with it. There is no vaccine. The best prevention is good old-fashioned hand washing, which apparently we're getting a lot better at in the last few years.
It helps with most things, doesn't it?
It seems to.
Yeah. Andrew, thank you.
You're welcome.
Andrew Johnson reporting.